The alarm screamed through the medical ship Eternal Remedy. Chief Medical Officer lifted her head from the patient files she was reviewing. Her thin, gray fingers moved quickly across the control panel. A distress signal. Close. Very close. Location, she asked her team. Sector 7 near the asteroid field, answered her assistant. Small vessel, human design. Large eyes widened slightly. Humans. She had heard of them but never treated one. They were new to the galactic community. Very new, only 20 years since first contact. Prepare the medical bay. Full trauma setup, she ordered. The Eternal Remedy changed course, stood from her chair carefully. Her body was fragile like all. She wore a mechanical exoskeleton just to move in normal gravity. Without it, her own weight would crush her bones. Her people were the best doctors in the galaxy, but their bodies were weak. Perhaps that was why they understood medicine so well. The human ship came into view. It was small, damaged, spinning slowly in space. Huge dents covered its hull. Several panels were missing. Could see the asteroid field nearby. The ship had crashed through it. No life signs detected, reported the scanner technician. Scan again, said. Humans have different biology. Our scanners might miss them. The technician adjusted the settings. Wait, yes, one life sign, weak but present, inside the engineering section. They docked with the damaged ship, led her medical team through the airlock. The inside of the ship was a disaster, broken equipment everywhere. Exposed wires sparked. The gravity was off, making them float through the corridors. They found the human in the engineering bay. He was sitting against a wall, very much alive and awake. He had dark hair and was wearing a torn blue uniform. A piece of metal was tied to his left arm like a splint. He was using his right hand to work on a damaged communication panel. Human, stop moving, shouted, rushing forward as fast as her exoskeleton allowed. The human looked up. He seemed surprised to see them. Oh, hey there, he said. His voice was calm, too calm. Took you a while. You guys got any duct tape? I almost fixed this thing. Pulled out her medical scanner and pointed it at him. The device beeped. Then it beeped faster. Then it started screaming warnings. The small screen showed red everywhere, critical damage, multiple systems failing. By every measure knew this human should be dead. You need to stop moving immediately, she said, trying to keep her voice steady. You are severely injured. The human glanced down at himself. Oh yeah, the collision was pretty rough, but I'm okay, really. Just need to get communications working so I can call for. Well, I guess you're the help, huh? You are not okay, said firmly. She gestured to her team. Prepare the stretcher carefully, very carefully. 2 medical staff brought forward a floating stretcher. They moved slowly, afraid to hurt the human more. But when they tried to help him onto it, he waved them off. I can walk, he said. You cannot, insisted. Sure I can, watch. The human grabbed the wall and pulled himself up. He stood. He was taller than any, even without the exoskeleton. He took a step, then another. He limped badly, but he walked. His team stood frozen in shock. The scanner was still screaming. How was he moving? Please, said her voice softer now. Please lie down. You are badly hurt. Let us help you. The human looked at her for a moment. Then he nodded. Okay, sure, if it makes you feel better. He sat on the stretcher and lay back. What's your name, Doc? I am Chief Medical Officer. Nice to meet you. I'm Park, engineer. Well, I was an engineer. Now I'm probably unemployed since I crashed the ship. He laughed, actually laughed. They brought him back to the Eternal Remedy. In the medical bay ran a full body scan. The results appeared on the large holographic display. Her breath caught in her throat. 17 broken bones. His ribs, both arms, collarbone, both legs had hairline fractures. Internal bleeding in 3 places. Severe bruising across 60% of his body. Muscle tears. A concussion. This is impossible, whispered her young assistant. Scan again, ordered. There must be an error. They scanned 3 more times. The results were the same. Approached carefully. He was looking around the medical bay with interest, like a tourist, not a dying patient. She said gently, "I need to show you something." She turned the holographic display toward him. His skeleton appeared in the air, glowing blue. Red marks showed every break, every fracture. "We found 17 broken bones in your body," explained. "You have severe internal injuries. You need immediate surgery and at least 3 months of recovery time." Looked at the display. He tilted his head, studying it. Then he shrugged with his good shoulder. "Oh, that," he said casually. "Yeah, that happened when we hit the asteroids. Well, most of it. These 2 ribs here," he pointed at the display. "Those were from last month. Cargo container fell on me. Never really got them checked out. They stopped hurting after a week or so." Stared at him, made a choking sound. The other medical staff had stopped working and were all watching now. "You have been walking around with broken ribs for a month?" asked slowly. "Yeah, I mean, they weren't that bad, just a little sore. And we were way out in deep space. Couldn't really stop for a doctor visit, you know." "A little sore," repeated. She looked at. "He says broken ribs were a little sore." "I heard," whispered. Turned back to, "Do you feel pain right now?" "Oh yeah, definitely. Everything hurts pretty bad. Like a 6 out of 10, maybe 7. "A 6 out of 10, said. "And at what number do humans usually seek medical care?" Thought about it. "I don't know, 9, 10, when you can't work anymore, I guess." "When you can't work anymore." "Yeah." Stepped back. She had been a doctor for 40 years. She had treated hundreds of species. She had never seen anything like this. The human was broken, severely broken, and he was rating it a 6 out of 10. "We need to start treatment immediately," she said to her team. "Prepare the bone regeneration chamber, pain suppressors, tissue repair nanobots." As her team rushed to prepare, looked at one more time. He had closed his eyes and seemed to be resting, but his fingers were still moving, like he was thinking through repair sequences for his ship. What kind of species, she wondered, could break this badly and keep going? What kind of world created people who thought broken bones were just inconvenient? She had a feeling she was about to learn something that would change everything she knew about medicine. And survival. 5 days had passed since they brought aboard. 5 very strange days. Sat in her office, reviewing the medical reports for the 3rd time. Nothing made sense. The bone regeneration chamber, designed by the finest scientists, was working too slowly. Human bones were incredibly dense. The machine kept giving error messages. It was not built for such heavy material. The pain suppressors were even worse. They barely worked at all. Had increased the dose 3 times. By the 3rd increase, the medication should have put into a peaceful sleep. Instead, he just said he felt a bit better and asked for something to read. "How is our patient today?" asked, entering the office. "Difficult," replied. "He wants to leave the medical bay. He says he feels fine. But his bones are still healing." "I am aware. I told him he needs at least 6 more weeks of treatment." "What did he say?" "He laughed and asked if we had any engineering work he could help with." Thin fingers twisted together nervously. "Chief, I have been reading about humans. They are from a Class 12 death world." "Class 12, looked up sharply. "That cannot be right. Nothing sentient comes from Class 12 worlds." The classification was confirmed by the Galactic Survey Committee. Earth is incredibly hostile. High gravity, violent weather, unstable geology, dangerous wildlife. The list goes on. Was quiet for a moment. Class 12, the worst rating. Most species evolved on Class 3 or Class 4 worlds. Gentle places, safe places. Class 12 worlds were where exploration teams went missing. "That explains some things," she said finally, "but not everything." They walked together to the medical bay. Was sitting up in bed, eating lunch. When he saw them, he smiled and waved. "Hey, Doc, this food is pretty good. What is it?" Nutritional supplement number 47 said, balanced proteins and vitamins. Tastes like chicken. I do not know what chicken is. It's a bird from Earth. We eat them. Took another bite. So when can I get out of here? Not for several weeks, said firmly. She activated the medical scanner again. The readings were better than before but still showed multiple healing fractures. Your bones are still damaged. They feel okay. Feeling okay is not the same as being healed. Sure it is. If I can walk and work, I'm healed enough. Made a frustrated sound. That is not how medicine works. Maybe not for you guys, said cheerfully, but humans are pretty good at working through stuff. Stepped forward. May I ask you something? Sure, go ahead. Have you been injured before this accident? Laughed. Oh, tons of times. Broke my leg when I was 8, fell out of a tree, broke my arm twice in high school, once playing sports, once in a hoverbike accident, dislocated my shoulder during basic training, broke 3 fingers fixing a mining drill, had a concussion from a pressure blast. Let's see what else. He counted on his fingers. Oh, and I cut my hand pretty bad once, needed 30 stitches. And stared at him in horror. You have had multiple serious injuries, said slowly, throughout your life. Yeah, I guess I'm a bit clumsy, grinned, or maybe just unlucky. And you survived all of these. Well, yeah, obviously, I'm sitting here, aren't I? When you broke your leg as a child, asked, her voice shaking slightly, what was the treatment? They put it in a cast. You know, hard material around it to keep it still. I had to use crutches for a few weeks. It was annoying because I couldn't play outside. Weeks, his voice went high. Not months, not years. Nah, just like 6 weeks. Kids heal fast. Felt dizzy. She sat down on the chair next to the bed. Your species heals from major skeletal damage in weeks. Yeah, usually, depends on the break. Bad ones take longer, and you're slower when you're older. How much older? I don't know, like when you're really old, 60, 70 years. You consider 60 years old. I mean, it's getting up there. Average human lives to about 90, 100 these days, some longer with good medical care. And exchanged looks, lived to about 60 years on average, and they considered 50 to be elderly. I need to run more tests, said. Over the next few days, she ran every test she could think of. She measured bone density, healing rates, pain tolerance, tissue regeneration. Every result was shocking. Human bones were 3 times denser than bones. They healed 5 times faster. Tissue regeneration was even more impressive. A cut that would take 30 days to heal took a human 6 days. But the pain tolerance was the most frightening part. Set up a controlled test with permission. She applied gradually increasing pressure to his arm. On the pain scale, would cry out at level 3. Most species stopped the test at level 5. Got to level 8 before he said it was getting uncomfortable. This is not normal, told him after the test. You barely register pain. I register it, said, rubbing his arm. I just don't let it stop me. Pain is just information, you know. It tells you something is wrong. But if you already know something is wrong and you're dealing with it, the pain doesn't really matter. Pain doesn't matter, repeated flatly. Not really. I mean, severe pain matters, but normal pain, you just work through it. That evening, another human arrived. She was a scientist working with the medical fleet. Her name was, she was a studying alien species. I heard you picked up, said, meeting with, how is he? Impossible, said, that is how he is, impossible. Laughed, yeah, that sounds about right. What did he do? He broke 17 bones and treated it like a minor inconvenience. He has been walking around with broken ribs for a month. He registers pain at levels that should cause unconsciousness and calls it uncomfortable. He heals impossibly fast. He wants to leave medical care after 5 days. His voice rose with each sentence. What is wrong with your species? Nothing is wrong with us, said gently. We're just from Earth. You have to understand, we evolved differently. Our world is harsh, really harsh. We had to become tough to survive. Class 12 Death World said. Right, so breaking bones, getting hurt, dealing with pain. It's normal for us. We learn it as children. Every human you meet has been injured multiple times. We all have scars. We all have stories of close calls. It's part of life. That is horrifying. To you maybe, to us it's just Tuesday, smiled. Look, I know it seems crazy, but you have to remember we didn't have a choice. Earth made us this way. We adapted or we died. Humans are survivors. It's what we do best. Was quiet for a long moment. I want to study this properly with your help. You want to study human durability? Yes, I think the galaxy needs to understand what humans are capable of, for medical purposes. She paused. And for safety purposes. If other species interact with humans, they need to know that humans have very different limits. Nodded slowly. Okay, I'll help, but you're going to be shocked by what you find. I am already shocked. Trust me, said, it gets worse. Research consumed the next month. She interviewed daily. She brought in to explain human biology. She accessed every database file about Earth she could find. What she learned kept her awake at night. Earth had gravity 30% higher than galactic standard. Most ships had to adjust their artificial gravity when humans came aboard, or the humans would accidentally break things by moving too forcefully. What felt normal to humans crushed most other species. The atmosphere contained oxygen at levels that would be toxic to many species. It also had other gases that were mildly corrosive. Humans breathed this without thinking about it. The weather was violent. Watched videos of something called a hurricane. Winds that could destroy buildings. Rain that fell so hard it hurt exposed skin. Humans just called this bad weather and went about their day. Then there were the natural disasters. Earthquakes that split the ground open. Volcanoes that exploded. Floods. Wildfires. Tornadoes. Earth was trying to kill its inhabitants and they just rebuilt and kept going. Your planet sounds like a nightmare, said during one interview with. He was sitting up in bed, almost fully healed now. His bones had regenerated in 3 weeks. 3 weeks. It should have taken 6 months. Earth, nah, it's beautiful, said. Sure, it's dangerous, but it's home. You just learn to be careful. Careful, repeated. You fell out of a tree as a child and broke your leg. That was being careful. Well, I was 8. 8-year-olds aren't very careful, he grinned. Besides, climbing trees is fun. Why would children climb trees? To play, to explore, to see how high they can go. And when they fall, then they learn to climb better next time, or they learn that maybe climbing isn't for them. Wrote this down. Human children regularly engaged in activities that could cause serious injury, and this was considered normal, acceptable, even encouraged as playing. Provided more disturbing information. She showed videos of human sports, people running at full speed and crashing into each other deliberately, people fighting each other with padded gloves, people jumping off high platforms into water. This is entertainment, asked weakly. Some of it, some is exercise, some is competition, scrolled through more videos. Oh, here's a good one. This is called skateboarding. The video showed a young human on a board with wheels, launching himself off a ramp. He spun in the air, landed badly, and crashed hard onto the ground. Is he dead? Asked in horror. No, watch. The human got up, grabbed his board, and tried again. Probably got some bruises, maybe a sprained wrist. He'll be fine. He fell from 3 meters onto concrete. Yeah, that's kind of the point. You try tricks, you fall, you get better. Felt ill. Your species deliberately injures itself for fun. We push our limits, corrected. That's different. The research continued. Learned about human history next. This was somehow even worse than the sports. Humans had wars. Thousands of years of wars. They fought each other with increasingly terrible weapons. They survived explosions, gunshots, stab wounds, chemical weapons, and radiation. They developed medicine specifically to put their soldiers back together so they could keep fighting. "You have an entire branch of medicine called combat medicine," said, looking at, "designed to treat catastrophic injuries in active war zones." "Yes, we had to. People get hurt in combat and you can't always get them to a hospital right away. So you developed ways to treat severe trauma with minimal equipment in dangerous conditions." "Right. That is insane. That's survival." Pulled up more data. "Look at this. This is a list of procedures that human field medics can perform with just a basic kit: chest decompression, emergency airway management, wound packing for arterial bleeds, emergency amputation." Read the list. Each procedure would require a full surgical team and specialized equipment by galactic standards. Humans did them in the field with basic tools. "You can remove limbs with field equipment?" she asked faintly. "In emergencies, yes. If someone is trapped and bleeding out, you do what you have to do to save their life." "And they survive this?" "Usually. Humans are hard to kill, that's kind of our thing." Over dinner that evening, met with to discuss the findings. They ate in silence for a while. "I have been having nightmares," admitted finally, "about Earth, about humans." "So have I," said. "I keep thinking about what kind of evolutionary pressure would create such a species. The death rate must have been enormous." "It was. I looked it up. Before modern medicine, human child mortality was 40%. Almost half of all children died before adulthood." Put down her eating utensil. 40%. "Yes, disease, injury, animal attacks, accidents. Childhood was incredibly dangerous. Only the strong survived." "So modern humans are descended from the strongest, toughest, most resilient members of an already tough species." "Exactly." They sat quietly, thinking about this. "There is more," continued. "I found records of something called adrenaline. It is a chemical human bodies produce in response to danger." "What does it do?" "It temporarily increases strength, speed, and pain tolerance. It allows humans to ignore serious injuries and keep functioning in emergencies. They have a biological system specifically designed to help them escape from things trying to kill them." "A biological emergency system?" "Yes, it can make them lift objects far beyond their normal strength. It can make them run on broken legs. It can make them fight with fatal injuries until the danger passes. Then they collapse." Stared at her assistant. "Are you telling me that humans have a built-in mechanism that lets them temporarily become stronger and ignore mortal wounds?" "Yes. That is military-grade enhancement. Most species need cybernetic implants to achieve that. Humans evolved it naturally." The next day, more humans arrived. They came to retrieve and repair his ship. Their vessel docked with the Eternal Remedy, and the crew came aboard. Watched them move through her ship. They walked confidently in the 1.2G environment that made her servos strain. They spoke loudly, laughed easily. One of them, a man named Song, was their captain. "Thank you for taking care of our engineer," said, shaking's hand. His grip was gentle, but she could feel the strength in it. He could crush her hand without trying. "It was our duty," replied, "though I must say treating has been educational." Laughed. "Yes, tough, we all are, comes with the job. Deep space exploration." "Exactly. Things go wrong out here. You need people who can handle it. Handle broken bones and still work. If that's what it takes." His expression turned serious. "Look, I know we seem crazy to you, reckless maybe, but we're not. We're just prepared for things to go bad, because they do go bad, often, and when they do, you can't just give up. You fix what's broken and keep going." Nodded slowly. She was beginning to understand. Humans weren't crazy. They were adapted. perfectly, terrifyingly adapted to survive in a universe that didn't care if they lived or died. "I am writing a paper," she said, "about human durability and medical resilience." "Good," said. "The galaxy should know what we're capable of, might prevent some accidents. People see us and think we're fragile like them. Then they're surprised when we shrug off things that would kill them." "That is part of the problem, yes." "Well, your paper will help. Anything we can do to assist." Thought for a moment. "Actually, yes. I am presenting my findings to the Galactic Medical Council in 2 weeks. Would you and your crew be willing to help demonstrate?" Grinned. "Doc, we'd be happy to blow their minds." The council chamber was huge, stood at the center, surrounded by holographic screens. Above her, representatives from 24 different species watched from their viewing platforms. Some were there in person. Others attended virtually from there. She was nervous. This was the most important presentation of her career. The Galactic Medical Council did not gather lightly. They were the final authority on all medical practices in known space. "Chief Medical Officer," spoke Council Leader M, a massive whose crystalline body glowed soft blue. "You have made serious claims about human biology. The Council is skeptical. We have reviewed your data, but data can be manipulated." "I understand, Council Leader. That is why I have brought humans to demonstrate in person." A murmur went through the chamber. Several council members shifted uncomfortably. Humans were still new to galactic society. Most species had never met one. "Very well, begin your presentation." Took a breath and activated the first hologram. It showed Earth rotating slowly in space. Beautiful blue and green, with white clouds swirling across its surface. "This is Earth of humanity. It is classified as a Class 12 death world." She paused to let that sink in. For those unfamiliar with the classification system, Class 12 is the highest danger rating. These worlds are considered unsuitable for sentient life. She pulled up more data. Earth has 1.3 times galactic standard gravity. Its atmosphere contains 21% oxygen, which is toxic to 17 of the 24 species represented here today. The planet experiences violent weather patterns, including hurricanes with winds exceeding 300 kilometers per hour. It has active volcanic systems, unstable tectonic plates that cause massive earthquakes, and temperature variations that range from -60 to +60 degrees. Council member, a floating gas being, spoke up. "If this world is so dangerous, how did intelligent life evolve there?" "That is exactly the question," said. "Humans did not evolve despite Earth's dangers. They evolved because of them. Every challenge their planet presented made them stronger, more adaptable, more resilient. I would like to introduce Human to explain further." Stepped forward. She was young, confident, wearing the standard science uniform. She smiled at the council. "Thank you, Chief Medical Officer. Good morning, council members." She activated her own set of holograms. "Human evolution is a story of survival. Our early ancestors faced predators, diseases, injuries, and environmental disasters constantly. Those who survived passed on their genes. Over millions of years, we became incredibly good at not dying." She brought up a diagram of a human body. "Our bodies can do things most species consider impossible. Our liver can regenerate from 25% of its mass. Our bones heal stronger than before when they break. We can survive with portions of our brain removed and compensate for the loss. We can adapt to extreme temperatures, high radiation, toxic environments, and severe injuries." "Impossible," stated council member, "a small reptilian species. No natural organism can regenerate organs." "Humans can," said simply. "We also have redundant systems. 2 kidneys when we only need 1, 2 lungs. We can lose one and survive. Our blood clots quickly to prevent death from wounds. Our immune system can adapt to new diseases within days. We have a stress response system called adrenaline that temporarily makes us stronger and faster in emergencies. She pulled up more data. But perhaps the most important adaptation is our pain tolerance. Humans feel pain, but we are trained from childhood to function through it. We have to be. Earth injures us constantly. Another council member spoke. You claim children are regularly injured. Yes, childhood injuries are extremely common. Broken bones, cuts requiring stitches, sprains, bruises. It is part of growing up. We learn our limits by testing them. The chamber erupted in shocked voices. Let them talk for a moment, then called for silence. I would now like to introduce a human emergency medical technician. He will demonstrate standard human first aid procedures. Walked out carrying a medical kit. He was tall, muscular, and moved with easy confidence. He set the kit down and opened it. This is a standard human field medical kit, he explained. It contains supplies for treating serious injuries in emergency situations with no hospital access. I will describe some common procedures. He pulled out various items as he spoke. For a collapsed lung, we perform needle decompression. We insert a needle between the ribs to release trapped air. For severe bleeding, we pack the wound with gauze and apply direct pressure, sometimes for 30 minutes or longer. For broken bones, we create splints from available materials. For burns, we cool with water and cover with sterile dressings. And patients survive these field treatments? Asked Council Leader M. Most of the time, yes. Human bodies are resilient. We can survive a lot of trauma if we stop the immediate life threats. Bleeding, airway problems, shock. Control those and the patient usually makes it to a hospital. Usually, M repeated. What is your survival rate? For field treatment of serious trauma, around 70% depending on the injury. The council was silent. For most species, field treatment of serious injuries had a 10% survival rate at best. Stepped forward again. Now I would like to show you the patient who started this research. Park, please come forward. Walked out and waved, hey everyone. Arrived on my medical ship 4 weeks ago with 17 broken bones, internal bleeding and severe tissue damage. He was conscious, alert, and attempting to repair equipment. Pulled up's original scans. The council gasped. The skeleton was broken in so many places, lit up red with injury markers. By every medical standard we know, this patient should have been dead or unconscious. Instead, he was working. When we informed him of his injuries, this was his response. She played the audio recording. Oh, that, yeah, happened during the collision. Well, some of it. A couple of those ribs were from last month. The council chamber was absolutely silent. He had been walking around with broken ribs for a month, continued. He rated his pain at 6 out of 10. When I asked at what level humans seek medical care, he said 9 or 10 when they cannot work anymore. This must be a genetic abnormality, protested council member. An unusually strong individual. He is not, said, she gestured to show them. Pulled up his shirt, revealing his torso. Scars crisscrossed his skin. Old injuries healed over. I am a completely normal human, said. Average, actually. Every human you meet has a body like this. We all have scars. We all have old injuries. I have friends who have survived worse than me. He lowered his shirt. You asked what kind of organism can regenerate organs. The answer is humans. You asked what kind of species teaches children to endure injury. The answer is humans. You asked how we survive on a Class 12 death world. The answer is, we are built for it. Earth made us tough because anything less would die. Brought up the final scans. These were taken yesterday, 4 weeks after admission, is fully healed, all bones regenerated, all tissue repaired. He is ready to return to duty. Impossible, breathed council member. It is not impossible, said firmly. It is human, and the galaxy needs to understand this. We need to rewrite our medical protocols for human patients. We need to adjust our safety standards when working with humans. Most importantly, we need to recognize that humans are not like us. They are stronger, tougher, and more resilient than any species we have encountered. Council Leader M leaned forward. Are you certain this human was not enhanced? No cybernetic implants, no genetic modification. We ran every test available, said. Park is baseline human, natural, unmodified. M was quiet for a long moment. If this is natural human ability, then we must reconsider much of what we know about biology. Yes, agreed, we must. The council began to discuss among themselves, stood quietly letting them process. Beside her shifted his weight. How do you think it went? He whispered. You made them question everything they believed about the limits of biology, whispered back. I think it went very well. The council chamber gradually emptied. Representatives returned to share what they had learned, stood alone in the center of the room, exhausted but satisfied. The presentation had worked. The galaxy would never see humans the same way again. That was quite a show, said a voice behind her. She turned to find Council Leader M. His crystalline body pulsed with soft light as he approached. Thank you, Council Leader. I hope I was not too dramatic. Not at all. Drama was necessary. We needed to see the truth clearly. He paused. The Council has decided to approve your recommendations. We will create new medical protocols specifically for human patients. We will also establish research positions to study human biology further. That is wonderful news. There is more. We are recommending that humans be included in emergency response teams throughout the galaxy. Your research has shown that they are uniquely suited for disaster situations. Felt a surge of satisfaction. This was what she had hoped for. Humans will be valuable in such roles. Indeed, when disaster strikes, having someone who can work through injuries, survive harsh conditions, and adapt quickly will save lives. M's light brightened. You have done important work. The galaxy is safer because of it. After he left, Found and the other humans in one of the station's observation lounges. They were looking out at the stars, talking and laughing. When saw her, he waved her over. Hey Doc, how did the final vote go? Very well. The council approved everything. Your species will be formally recognized as having unique medical needs and abilities. That's great, grinned. Does this mean other doctors will stop panicking when they scan us? Eventually, yes, though I think some panic is understandable given how your bodies work. Laughed, fair enough, we do tend to shock people. Was looking at the council's announcement is already spreading. I am getting messages from xenobiology departments across the galaxy. Everyone wants to study humans now. You will be very busy, said. Good, it is about time people understood us properly, smiled. No more people thinking we are fragile or delicate. No more safety protocols designed for species that break easily. Though we should still follow safety protocols, added. Just because we can survive stupid things does not mean we should do stupid things. Where is the fun in that? Joked. They all laughed, found herself joining in, even though laughter sounded different from human laughter. Later that evening, sat alone in her quarters, writing the final notes for her research paper. The document had grown far beyond what she originally planned. It covered not just medicine, but human psychology, evolution, culture, and philosophy. She wrote about pain tolerance and how humans were taught from childhood to work through discomfort. She wrote about their approach to injury, treating it as a temporary setback rather than a catastrophe. She wrote about their mental resilience, their refusal to give up even in hopeless situations. But mostly, she wrote about survival, how humans had faced extinction countless times in their history and refused to die, how they had conquered their planet not through strength alone, but through adaptability, stubbornness, and an absolute refusal to quit. A message appeared on her screen. It was from Heading back to my ship tomorrow, just wanted to say thanks for everything. You are a great doctor even if you worry too much. Stay safe out there." Attached was an image, giving a thumbs-up gesture, standing next to his repaired ship. Smiled and sent a reply. "Thank you for teaching me about human resilience. Safe travels. Try not to break any more bones." His response came immediately. "No promises, but I will try." The next morning, went to the docking bay to see them off. The human crew was loading supplies onto their ship. They moved efficiently, laughing and joking as they worked. Even the heavy cargo containers seemed light in their hands. "All set?" asked his crew. "Ready to go, Captain," confirmed. Was doing a final check on the ship's exterior. He noticed watching and walked over. "Going to miss this place," he said. "Your medical bay is nice, very clean." "I hope you will not need to see it again," said. "Yeah, me too." He paused. "But if I do end up back here, at least now you know how to treat me properly." "Yes, though I hope all human patients are not as difficult as you." "Oh, they are, we all are. It is part of our charm." Exoskeleton made a whirring sound as she extended her hand, shook it gently. "Thank you, you have changed how I practice medicine, how I think about survival and resilience. That is a valuable gift." "Hey, I just answered questions. You did the hard work," he smiled. "But you are welcome." The human crew boarded their ship. Watched from the observation window as they undocked and flew away, their engines glowing bright as they jumped to faster-than-light speed. Came to stand beside her. "Do you think we will see them again?" "Oh, I am certain of it," said. "Humans are going to be everywhere soon. Once the galaxy understands what they can do, everyone will want to work with them." That is a strange thought, humans working alongside all of us. Strange but good. They will push us to be better, to try harder, to not give up when things seem impossible. Turned away from the window. That is what they do best. They show us that impossible is just a word. 3 months later, this research paper was published in the Galactic Medical Journal. It broke all records for downloads and citations. Universities started offering courses on human biology. Medical schools added human-specific training to their programs. Safety regulations were rewritten to account for human durability. But the biggest change was cultural. Other species started to see humans differently, not as strange newcomers but as survivors, as partners who could be trusted in dangerous situations, as people who would never quit, no matter how bad things got. Received an award from the Galactic Science Foundation. At the ceremony, she was asked to give a speech. "I studied one human with broken bones," she told the assembled scientists. "From that one case, I learned that humans are not like us. They are stronger, tougher, more resilient. But more than that, I learned they have a different relationship with survival. Where we see catastrophe, they see challenge. Where we see hopeless injury, they see temporary setback. Where we would give up, they keep going." She paused, looking out at the audience. "We can learn from this. We may not be able to match their physical resilience, but we can adopt their mental approach. We can be more stubborn, more determined, more willing to adapt and overcome. That is the real gift humans bring to the galaxy, not just their bodies but their spirit." The audience applauded. As left the stage, she checked her messages. There was one from: "Saw your speech. Very nice. By the way, I twisted my ankle last week. Already back to work, barely even hurts anymore. Hope you are doing well. Jay." Laughed. Of course he was injured again. Of course he was already working. That was just how humans were. She sent back a reply. "Please be more careful. Your body is not indestructible." His response came quickly. "I know, but it is pretty close. Talk soon, Doc." Shook her head, smiling. Impossible species. Wonderful, terrifying, impossible species. The galaxy was better for having them in it. 6 months after that, and published their own paper titled Comparative Analysis of Death World Adaptation, Why Humans Don't Know When to Quit. It won the Galactic Science Foundation's highest honor. was cited 17 times, mostly in the section about acceptable injury thresholds. When reporters asked for comment, he simply said, "Oh, that, cool. Hey, do I get prize money? I need new boots." The boots had been destroyed when he kicked open a jammed airlock during a station evacuation. He saved 43 people and only complained about his ruined footwear. It was, everyone agreed, a very human response. And somewhere in deep space, on a small exploration vessel, Park continued his work, fixing things that broke, exploring unknown regions, and occasionally injuring himself in ways that would horrify most of the galaxy. But that was fine. He was human. Getting hurt and healing was what they did. Earth had trained them well. The galaxy was still learning just how well.